For decades, we have been fed a simple, undeniable truth about health. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. You've seen the advice everywhere. Drink 8 glasses a day, carry a bottle with you, make water your constant companion. We bought into this dogma with absolute faith, believing we were maximizing performance, circulation, and vitality. But what if I told you that the very vessel you carry, the symbol of your commitment to health, is a biological weapon pointed directly at your vascular system? It's not the water that's the problem, it's the container. Look closely at that standard, ubiquitous plastic water bottle. It is not a convenience, it is a Trojan horse. We have been unknowingly participating in a slow, cumulative poisoning of our most vital highways, the circulatory system. If you are a mature man who has done everything right, exercising, eating better, yet still experiencing frustrating declines in energy, cognitive sharpness, and crucially, in robust blood flow and performance, the invisible culprit might be staring you in the face right now. The enemy is microscopic, relentless, and everywhere. When we talk about plastic bottles, we must shift our perspective from macroscopic waste to microscopic threat. Recent groundbreaking studies, including alarming data out of institutions like Columbia University, reveal a shocking truth. A single liter of bottled water, the kind you buy every day, can contain hundreds of thousands of individual plastic particles. And I'm not talking about microplastics, the relatively large debris we usually hear about. I am talking about nanoplastics. These particles are unimaginably small. They measure less than 1 micrometer, sometimes less than 100 nanometers. To put that into perspective, they are small enough to bypass the body's natural defenses entirely. They don't just pass through your digestive system, they are small enough to breach the delicate gut lining and enter the bloodstream directly. Once inside the circulation, the real damage begins. Imagine your arteries as pristine, high-speed interstate highways. They are lined with a velvety, smooth, incredibly delicate layer of cells, called the endothelium. The health of the endothelium is the single most important factor determining your blood flow, your blood pressure, and your capacity for strong, responsive circulation. Nanoplastics act like molecular shrapnel. As they circulate through your body, they mechanically scratch and irritate this delicate endothelial lining. They embed themselves into the arterial walls, triggering the body's emergency response mechanism. Chronic inflammation. This is where the direct, devastating link to male vitality becomes clear. For years, we've been told that declines in blood flow are an inevitable consequence of aging. That's a convenient lie. They are often a consequence of environmental toxicity that induces rapid aging in the vascular system. When the endothelium is chronically inflamed and irritated, the body's ability to produce nitric oxide, the essential signaling molecule that tells arteries to relax, expand, and flood tissues with blood, is severely compromised. Inflammation causes the arterial walls to stiffen and constrict. The vessels lose their elasticity. They become rigid, narrow channels. This is the exact opposite physiological state required for powerful, responsive circulation and peak performance. You cannot achieve robust blood flow and maintain vitality when your circulatory highways are under constant microscopic attack, riddled with scar tissue and perpetual inflammation. But the physical attack is only half the story. The chemical hijacking is perhaps even more insidious. We must introduce the chemical villains, phthalates and bisphenol A, BPA. These are plasticizers and compounds used to make the material flexible and durable. Every time you drink from a plastic bottle, especially if it has been exposed to any warmth, even the sun on your car seat, these chemicals leach out into your water. You are drinking them. Phthalates and BPA are classified strictly as xenoestrogens. The name explains the function. Xeno means foreign, so they are foreign estrogens. They are hormone-disrupting chemicals that perfectly mimic the structure of female hormones in your body, yet they are structurally foreign to your biology. When these xenoestrogens flood your system, they latch onto your estrogen receptors, overwhelming the natural hormonal balance. The signal sent to your male body is devastatingly clear. Lower testosterone production, increase estrogen dominance, and promote fat storage, particularly visceral fat around the abdomen. This hormonal disruption crushes your inherent drive and, by extension, further compromises the blood flow and systemic health necessary for true vitality. We are, quite literally, being chemically castrated by the very container we carry for health. If you have tried standard dietary changes or supplements and found they offered only temporary or negligible relief, it is because you were trying to heal the house while the poisonous tap was still running. You cannot fix a systemic problem of blood flow and performance until you declare war on this invisible constant source of toxicity. At this point, if you are recognizing this pattern in your own life, the frustrating inability to restore peak blood flow despite trying everything, you need a comprehensive roadmap. We need to look at exactly how mature men are supporting healthy blood flow and vitality naturally, without relying on artificial solutions that only mask the symptoms. This is a battle that requires detoxification and repair. I have compiled a focused resource detailing the exact nutritional protocols and lifestyle adjustments necessary to fight back against this chemical invasion, and it is waiting for you in the first link in the description below. Now, let's talk about the solution. To reclaim your circulation and vitality, we must execute a three-pronged strategy: stop the intake, filter the source, and repair the damage. First, stop the intake. This is immediate and non-negotiable. Eliminate all single-use plastic water bottles and any plastic containers used for food storage, especially if they are heated. Switch exclusively to high-grade stainless steel or glass containers. This drastically cuts off the immediate supply of nanoplastics and leaching xenoestrogens. Treat plastic like the toxic waste it is when it comes to consumption. Second, filter the source. You might assume tap water is safer, but municipal water supplies often contain trace elements of the same plastic microfibers from discarded waste and inadequate filtration. To truly remove this microscopic threat, you need the gold standard in home filtration, a reverse osmosis, RO system. This type of filter uses pressure to force water through a semi-permeable membrane, effectively trapping particles down to the size of ions, including the smallest nanoplastics, heavy metals, and most chemical contaminants. This is an investment in your vascular future. Third, repair the damage. Simply stopping the intake is not enough. We have years, perhaps decades, of nanoplastic shrapnel embedded in our arterial walls, generating chronic inflammation. We must actively scrub this inflammation and restore the integrity and elasticity of the endothelium. The body needs specific targeted compounds to achieve this. We need a synergistic blend of specific polyphenols and potent amino acids that act as a vascular detergent. I am talking about a precise combination involving vitamin C, pine bark extract, and L-citrulline working in unison. It is nearly impossible to obtain these in therapeutic dosages from a standard grocery store diet alone. The vitamin C protects the nitric oxide, the pine bark acts as a structural balm for the lining, and the L-citrulline fuels the expansion. This specific ritual is not just hydrating. It is conducting microsurgery with nutrients. Your decline in performance was not a matter of fate, but a matter of environmental exposure and ignorance of the true enemy. Once you remove the plastic trigger, filter your intake and arm your body with the molecular tools required to repair the inner damage. The rigidity fades, the inflammation subsides, the production of natural nitric oxide accelerates, and when that happens, the flow returns. The power to restore your vitality is not found in a pill or a quick fix, but in understanding and reversing the cumulative environmental toxicity that has targeted your most essential system. Do not accept stiffness and diminished performance as the inevitable march of time. Declare war on plastic. Reclaim your circulation. This journey is continuous, and this investigation is far from over. If you are ready to take the next crucial step in understanding the detailed nutritional protocols and lifestyle changes that actively support and restore healthy blood flow and peak male vitality naturally, the exact guide is waiting for you in the link below. Don't let this powerful information be the end of your education. Subscribe to the channel now. We are building a library of knowledge dedicated to reversing environmental damage and maximizing human performance, and you need to be here for the next chapter. The truth about your health demands your attention. Take action today. I am Dr. Richard Coleman, and I will see you in the next investigation.